Thank you very much for writing it down. Appreciate it. I want to kick it over to one of our private client, Mr. Noah Francis. Going to just talk to you a little bit about the opportunity that's here presented within Chase. A lot of the things that you see in front of you are because of the Blue Octagon. But one of the gentlemen that makes it all happen is right here.
Thank you, Robert. I'll be borrowing your suit after this. Good afternoon, everyone. Great to meet you all. I'm Noah Francis. I'm an executive director in our private bank here in Los Angeles. I'm not a military veteran, but I'm a 15-year veteran of JP Morgan Chase. So I've had a nice long tenure at the company. It's a great place to work, and I've really enjoyed my career here. So I work in the private bank. I focus on our diverse wealth initiative. So I work with many diverse clients who have accumulated significant wealth and need help in managing that across banking, investing, wealth planning, borrowing, things of that nature. Why am I here today? First of all, because Robert told me to, but more importantly, a lot of the work that I do is with entrepreneurs who have accumulated a lot of wealth and have needs that are not necessarily able to be serviced through your traditional consumer banks, such as the one that we're standing in right now. So as your wealth grows, your needs become more complex. You need that trust and estate planning. How you transfer wealth to the next generation becomes more complex. If you're thinking about selling your business or maintaining your supplier diversity certification, for example, as you're transitioning your business, it becomes more complex, and you need a team like mine that can really deliver a certain level of expertise and focus on that. So thank you again for inviting me, Robert. Happy to chat to you guys afterwards and answer any questions you might have. But we're here as a resource and trying to service more of the individuals in our community who are doing amazing work in the government contracting space and elsewhere, and we're here to help. Thank you.
Who else is here with a message or company or connection to share?
How's everybody doing? My name is Jordon Brooks. I came with WolfHouse LLC. We're based out of Southern California, Santa Ana, so pretty local to here. We focus on facility support, base operation support services, logistics, procurement. We have a pretty diverse array of clients, so it depends on the type of facility. And sometimes laboratories, different types of bases, so the types of commodities they need procured vary. But we specialize on being able to get the right products fast to the right place, the right way, no questions asked. So, and the company came basically from my musical background, a lot of concerts, a lot of festivals, things of that effect. So we basically put together a company that would be able to facilitate events like this, where you have a diverse array of things you need to procure, temporary power, so on and so forth. The same types of things that you need for emergencies. So that's us, WolfHouse LLC, WolfHouse IO. Thank you for having us. And this is Marilee, also here with WolfHouse.
Hello, my name is Joshua Brown, and coming for a little bit of a different reason than everybody else, but it's not really about government contracting, but I created a graphic novel called General Joshua, which primary basis is about unlikely leaders and helping young, especially young Black entrepreneurs know that it's all right to be an unlikely leader. You can grow anywhere you grew up, does not matter. You can be a leader no matter what. So doing that and causing me growing the company as it is, I've also got events out in Moreno Valley that are based upon comic characters and everything like that. So that's what we do. Thank you.
This is my dear friend. She made it out. I've invited her to our last 7 or 8 or 10 events, and I'm just so proud that she's here.
Hi, I'm Linda Nolan, and I didn't want to come, but I'm so glad I came. I came all the way from Marietta, California. It is a great honor to see each and every one of you here. You just make me so proud. It's so nice to get 80 years old and see all the people who come out and do wonderful things, to make things happen, to make a better difference. I met Robert at an event, and he was trying to do something to make a better life for veterans. I said, did you come to Marietta and do that? He said, I can do that. I did not think Robert would show up. Robert shows up for everything, and I greatly appreciate him. God bless each and every one of you.
Anyone else? Sir, looks like he wants to speak.
Well, my name is Ronnie McCoy from Sacramento, California. I had an opportunity to meet Erika and Maria through the course, and so we're launching an opportunity here in California with some Govcon opportunities. So we're really excited to be here and the consultant still looking also.
Thank you. Anybody else? Before we turn it over, there's two.
Hi there, my name is Courtney Appel. I've got two construction company consulting clients. I'm a consultant. I just won an 8A Direct Award last week. I want to be thanking Eric for all his help with all of that. All of those wonderful YouTube videos are just full of meat. Lots of meat. But thank you so much though for helping with that. But also, I just want to make sure to say though, there are a lot of opportunities out there. It just takes persistence and relationships. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kirby Smith. I have a sports apparel company, and I'm transitioning to the supplier side of that. So I'm here because I'm interested in learning about government contracting and how to get into it and where I can offer my services to the government in apparel.
That's awesome. With Black History Month, I was so excited on the calendar, and I talk, quite a bit to different businesses, diverse businesses, and I was so much looking forward to this event. Eric and I met at the VIB National Conference, and he made me feel like a brother from day one, from minute one. And he does something incredible for individuals and businesses, and you're all here. And he flew in from Miami? Delray, sorry. And from clear across the country, brought an incredible panel. We couldn't be prouder, but I do want to introduce Oscar, who's in charge of this entire team on the West Coast. Out of his busy day to be able to be here to make a presence. Just want to turn it over real quick.
Really here at this learn, really proud of the attendance here. Thank you, Robert, for having me. Looking forward to learning. Really, like Robert mentioned, I lead our commercial banks focused on diverse women and veteran companies. I'm a minority. I'm actually a veteran as well. I served in the Marine Corps in the early 2000s. And I was raised by a single mom, so all of this is personal to me, as it is for much of our team. So if you have any questions, please come talk to me, to Vanessa. We'd be happy to share more about the team. Really looking forward to the rest of the night. Thank you.
Awesome. Would you like to say a few words? You're going to be speaking in the panel, so we're not going to turn over yet. I'm going to turn over to my incredible, wonderful host. The hostess with the mostest is Laura Peralta. She's my community manager. Please give it up for Laura. Laura and I have partnered to be able to provide opportunities for individuals and small businesses to help them grow, whether you're doing $100 million a year or whether you're doing $1 a year. We're here to help you grow and scale. And with our leadership team, with our private bank, with our private wealth, with our West Coast opportunities, I want to just turn it over and Laura's going to kick us off.
Okay, so starting officially, Erika, ready to go? Big start?
All right, well, so great to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us. I know some of you flew in from out of state. You've been here for a few hours. You've been mingling, and you're super excited to see the program that we have for you. My name is Laura. I am a community manager. I am part of Chase's racial equity commitment. We have 150 community managers across the country, about 45 here in California, and our goal is to close the racial equity gap through financial education. And so we have an amazing team. I do personal finances, so I work with chambers of commerce, schools, nonprofit organizations, and I provide financial education to their clients, right? A lot of these folks are not part of the financial mainstream. This is the first time they actually create a budget or hear the how-to of banking. And so it's just great to be out there and be able to provide that information and see lives transformed. And then I have the pleasure of working with the amazing community team here. We've got Robert, he's a community home lending advisor. We've got Alejandra, she's a senior business consultant. She'll tell you more about what she does working with small businesses. And then we have our amazing partner here, Vanessa, commercial banker, and then Jazz, who is coming over. He's our amazing branch manager. So I'm just gonna pass it down so you hear a little bit about what we do to give back to the community. And all of this, you know, it's super important to us. I just wanna make sure that we remember that this is Black History Month, and it's super important for Chase to give back to the community and then to have a lot of programs that support the Black community. And so with that said, I'll pass it on to Robert.
Thank you. My name is Robert Bruch, Community Home Lending Advisor with Chase. For my day job, I make dreams come true, try to provide homes for veterans. First-time home buyers, I'm the down payment assistance expert within Chase. I'm the one that identifies the programs, finds the programs, gets them approved through Chase to be able to help those first-time home buyers. There's nothing like making a call, reaching out to somebody saying, you're closing escrow, get your keys. Thank you.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. My name is Alejandra. I am a senior business consultant with Chase. This is my home, downtown LA, this amazing branch. And what I do is I help empower our veteran women and minority owners with one-on-one consulting and coaching, and we also offer workshops and seminars to help educate and help them grow their business. So welcome, thank you for being here.
Hi everyone, I'm Vanessa Torres. I'm part of our diverse women and veteran-owned business segment. I partner with Oscar here, so I'm the LA-based banker, working strategically with all of our partners here, specifically Alejandra. She helps businesses within 100,000 in annual revenue up to 20 million. And then I come in and help those to build a path forward by leveraging business development strategies through supplier diversity programs, procurement opportunities, and also to continue fostering connections in a very meaningful way to ultimately help elevate your business to the next level. And here's Jeff.
Hello everyone, my name is Jasmond Nash. I go by Jazz. I am the branch manager here at this location. I get to work with this amazing team. I have a team of myself as well, who's probably seen walking around for bankers, ABs, and tellers, and we're here to really just serve the community. We opened this branch in October 2021 with the mindset of how can we get back and be different. When you walk in, we don't want you to feel like you're walking into a traditional bank, but we want you to feel like, hey, you know what? This is a place where I want to not only do my business, but continue to grow and as we start to get back. So we open our doors to many events such as today, and we're truly excited to have you guys here and be a part of this, and this is what this branch is for. So we're excited, and it's a pleasure meeting you guys.
All right, what you've all been waiting for, Mr.
Robert, it's gonna be Maria.
Sorry, Maria's.
Good evening, everyone. So first, I wanted to thank you guys from all of us here at Govcon Giants, because I know that some of you flew from very, very far away places just to come and be here today. And today is very, very important to us because it is Black History. And all of this has been led by Coffie. So to tell you guys a little bit about Govcon Giants, if you don't know yet, it was founded and our CEO is Coffie in 2017 with how every good thing is found, a big, great idea to help others. So after he saw that so many doors were being closed and so many people were closed off on this big secret about government contracting, he said, okay, I'll take it on my own and open up a YouTube channel. In 2017, on Christmas Day, we hit 1,000 followers. Last month, we are at 30,280 subscribers. So in 5 years, we've gone from 1 to over 30,000. And that is amazing when it's a channel just based on government contracting. That is all you will hear about. So our numbers have grown. In 2019, another one of his great ideas, I want to do a podcast. And so there we go. We launched our podcast, Govcon Giants, where we actually interview a lot of great entrepreneurs, a lot of successful people, people from the government. Every single aspect of what government contracting is going to be featured in that podcast. We are about 200 episodes in, and in this lifetime, we have 120,000 downloads. That's downloads, not just listens. So you could find us streaming on whatever platform you like to listen to your podcast. On top of that, as you heard, a lot of people here are members of the Govcon community. And the proudest moments that we have, and that this is the reason it all started, because if you hear Eric's mission is helping ordinary people win extraordinary contracts. And that is what our mission is always going to be. Our members have won over $150 million in contracts, and that is on their own. From every of the courses that we started, from your basic beginners of what is a government contract, which maybe a lot of you guys are asking today, to getting sole source projects, and that might not mean a lot to some of you, but for some of us, that is where we want to be. So we've had over about 7,000 individuals go through our course from beginning to advanced to we are going to get through this together. So our members are about 700 in our course right now, and like I said, $150 million in contracts. And that is from any industry, from construction to janitorial to landscaping to IT to medical supplies, you name it, the government wants it. So that is who we are. We are Govcon Giants, and I'm so proud and honored to be a part of it since 2017. And just before I go, I want to thank a very, very special guest that made her way all the way from Miami, and that is Eric's mom. And she's right over in the back over there, Miss Laurie Coffie. Thank you so much for making the trek with us and being here to support your son. So, Govcon Giants, we're going to keep on moving on. Before I go, I would like to introduce you. You've seen some of our faces on YouTube, but also here right now. You have Eric Coffie. That one needs no introduction or picture. You have myself, I'm the chairman. And then you have Erika. She is actually based out of California. And you have Brandon Coffie. He is our expert digital marketing. So if you want a good picture, that is who you want to be friends with. So, and we also have other team members. So we are growing, we're loving it, and our proud moments are all these students, like you heard, somebody just last week got another contract. So thank you from the bottom of all of our hearts, because this is what we're here for. We're here for you. We're here to guide you. We're here to mentor you. We're here to hold your hand, set you free, because we want every single person in this room to be successful. And whatever path you want to take, your success is our success, because at the end of the day, we're doing this to build that generational wealth. We want our kids to look at us and be proud. We want them to stand up with pride and confidence of who we are and what we're leaving behind for them. So thank you. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Corliss Udoema. And she's just going to give us a few words on Black history, and that is why we're all here today and the importance of it. Thank you.
Well, I don't know if I'm positioned correctly. I think I might need to do some driving. So, hold on. Oh, no, you're already thinking it. Old lady can't drive. Okay, so I broke something, right?
There you go. Trust me, it's going to be worth every single second.
Okay. So, hold on to this. 8 years ago, I was honored to be a speaker, one of the speakers at the Martin Luther King celebration. Great thing, I was so excited. For a month, I worked on my speech. I was number 7. They had 6 speakers before me. Had my little paper in my hand. When they said something that was on my speech, I crossed it off. First one, the second one. By the time they got to number 6, I said, okay. I got up to the podium. I had already been introduced, no need for that. I held up my paper and I said, everything that I had prepared to speak about, it's already done. There's no need for repetition. And when I sat there, I thought about something. They talked about everything that Dr. Martin Luther King did. But nobody, not one person, talked about what he did not do. What he did not do, that's what I'm going to share. He did not give up. And I know why he did not give up. It was his faith in God. And even coming on this journey has been one that made me relive why I haven't given up. You see the scooter, there's a wheelchair in the back, there's a cane, I have a walker at home. There are so many things that people would think that I wouldn't be there. But as you know, and if you don't know, you need to know it. If Eric asks you, invites you to something, you need to show up. That young man, I see what he's doing, and it is just amazing, amazing, amazing. So what does that mean? That means that I started a business with less than $50 and became a multimillionaire. I don't even have anything to put on the wall. The first contract I had with an agency, I knew that when they saw me on paper, I used to say I don't look good on paper. Now I can say I don't look good on paper or in person. But what I have is determination. What I have, and in my life, I've only been fired from one job, and one job only, and I can count that to a snake. I was in the tobacco field in North Carolina, and I was given a quarter and a watermelon and told, get another job. But as I think about Black History Month, I think about Dr. Martin Luther King, but I realize there's some other folks that cross my mind. Harriet Tubman, Booker T. Washington, Frederick Douglass, Barack Obama, Muhammad Ali, Satchel Paige, Madam C.J. Walker, Jesse Owens, Michael Jordon, Adam Clayton Powell, Bishop T.D. Jakes, Eric Coffie. When I listened to the introductions, the gentleman, I had my eye on him because he said he was a Marine. I know what it's like. I'm a veteran, a lover of veterans, and I have worked for the military proudly. You have a unique opportunity. And by the way, when I talked about starting my business and I got in the 8A program, I was 61. Never thought about it. Never thought that I would even do anything. But when you don't give up, when you know the reason that you're moving, you know the reason that you keep going, you know the reason that in spite of the obstacles, if there had been a video of me trying to get in the vehicle, oh no, I'm sorry, shall I say me with 4 or 5 other people trying to help me get in the vehicle, you would have seen what it's like. You would have known that This woman might be crazy, but she's got some determination. Don't ever give up. Don't let anyone else define who you are. I was told as a child, you came from nothing. You're nothing now, and you'll always be nothing. I was not raised by my biological parents. At 6 months old, they dropped me off. They said, we'll be back together in 2 weeks. I am now 73. They never came back. But somebody chose me. Somebody saw value in me. Somebody wanted me. So regardless of where I came from, it doesn't matter. Only matters where you're going. And if I can tell you one thing to remember of what I've said, always, always, always extend a helping hand. Please. Because it's not just what you have, what can you give? Please help someone else. And don't be a hater. Don't be a hater. I had someone to tell me, like, you going for a job interview? I said, yes. Well, don't you think it would be kind of bad for you? I said, why? Well, you're kind of large. I said, no, I'm not kind of large. I am large. I'm big. She said, well, they may not want you. I said, well, if they're looking for my weight size, hello, more bounce it out. But please remember, and always, even though we celebrate Black History Month, but everybody in this room knows, it's not the color, what is it? The character. The people that I've listed here, that's what they have. And I wanted to just share the last thing with them from Maya Angelou. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the dirt, but still, like dust, I rise. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise.
Thank you very much. So I would like to introduce our next, and I guess he doesn't need introduction because that's who we've been waiting for this whole time. So I would like to introduce Mr. Eric Coffie.
Hey. Yeah, if you've never seen on YouTube before, I have a lot of fun. In fact, Laurie says I'm the fun man of Govcon, which I accept that title. And by the way, some people call me Hee, right? So, because I like to laugh a lot. So, welcome everybody. Welcome Chase. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Oscar. Thank you everyone for being here today. Thanks, Laura, of course. Come on, look at you guys. Maria, Erika, Free, who's not here. Everybody else from my team. Check the mic, make sure we're working. So, yes, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy everyone is here today. And thank you, Mom. See, somebody's got to keep me in check over here. And thank you, Mama You, as we call her, okay, on our podcast. If you ever listen to her episode, it's phenomenal. And she preaches, right, delivering excellence, right, for everyone. And so that's something that she taught me a long time ago when she first came onto my show. So today, did you guys get my other slide? Yeah, there you go. So how are we here and why are we here? For me, the issue that I'm dealing with and why I chose to take on this challenge is essentially the theme is closing the gap, right? And if you look at those statistics, small businesses have been awarded 32% fewer contracts in 2018 versus 2009. And the number of companies working on contracts with the Department of Defense has declined by 24,000. And then on GSA, 8,000, Department of Veteran Affairs, and Imperial, 13,000 fewer companies. However, at the same time, the number of contracts and actions in terms of the dollars have been rising. So the number of companies is shrinking and the dollars are rising. And so that's what we talk about when we say closing the gap, right? So we want to get more people into these programs, teaching them how to do it, helping them participate, doing it the right way, delivering quality services, and also, right, supporting the warfighter. And so today, that's what I want this conversation to be about. And I want to introduce my first panel, Mr. Travis Mack, CEO of Saalex Corporation. He's the chairman of Vallejo Networks, and also he runs Greenwood Self-Storage Firms. All right, and I'm going to bring out Laurie Sayles. Go ahead. Pick it. Yeah, anywhere. Just well, let Brandon tell us where to sit because he's got the camera. Where he wants to sit.
On the chairs.
See, we have a lot of sense of humor in our family. And Laurie Sayles, Civility Management Solutions. Wait, more mics. I'll sit on the side.
No, that's personal.
That's personal. Do we have any more mics?
That's not for everybody.
No, that one's not working. All right, we'll just pass it around for now.
Maybe we turn it on.
Well, there you go, sir. All right. So we're going to have a casual conversation because I can say my name for 30 minutes, but I'm not going to do that today. Thank you. All right, Mr. Travis Mack. Listen, tell us a little bit about your background. Tell us where you come from. Tell us how you got here today. About your businesses and organizations you support.
Well, first of all, I'm Travis Mack. I am the CEO, the chairman and CEO of the Sayles Corporation. We do about $100 million in annual revenue. Got about 800 employees nationwide, primarily with the Department of Defense. We do things like test range management, logistics, engineering services, and information technology support for DoD components, Army, Navy, Air Force. And so I am thrilled to be here with my good friend, Mr. Eric Coffie, and looking forward to having a wonderful conversation and trying to give some nuggets at the end of the day, right? Some inside game, right, on how do you succeed in the federal contracting world, because you know what? It's absolutely tough sometimes. And it's okay to be, feel like you've been beaten up a couple times, but I'll give you a few tidbits that I use over the years, and it's been a long time. I swear. Where's my daughter? My daughter's here. Where you at next? She is. That's my girl. So when I started this, you know, she was an absolute baby, and now she's a grown woman, and so she's had to endure all of these years of me going through this, and she's probably one. My kids are probably the ones that I've sacrificed the most, you know, because Daddy wasn't there a lot. Yeah, but you know, he's out trying to grow a business, and I'm always gracious to them, so I will do this. So anyway, I'm looking forward to chatting with you. I'm not gonna go into all the other stuff, but let's have some fun.
All right, thank you. And Laurie?
Hello, everybody. Yes, let's have some fun. I'm President and CEO of Civility Management Solutions, and I've been in the business for 10 years. And we provide professional consulting services, mostly in the area of conference and facilities management. We also do program, project, financials, and grants management, and some human capital training. We're inside of DoD as well as the civilian side, and we're a cleared company as well. I am from Chicago, born and raised. Chi-town in the house, and we're special. But anyway, I joined the United States Marine Corps and I became a little more special. So I was kind of trained from a very young age to be an entrepreneur. You know, I don't mind telling it, and even in this crowd I'll tell it. I've been an entrepreneur all my life, legal and illegal. I'm grateful that I've made it completely to the other side, and as I told you, I'm a cleared company to show you how clean I am. I'm a lot cleaner, praise the Lord. But entrepreneurship has always been a thing for me, and I have just stayed with it, and when government contracting kind of appeared in my life, I just knew it to be the wealth transfer. And I've been attached to it ever since. I was an advocate long before my company ever made any money, so I've been on the Hill about 5 times now, speaking for people that look like me, including service-disabled veterans, regarding what our needs are, some of the issues, telling them the good things that they do, but also reminding them about the things that they can improve on. So I'm grateful to be here to join in on this panel.
Thank you. By the way, and again, thank you too for being here today. I appreciate your time. If you have not already listened to her podcast, make sure to do that. Travis and Laurie's podcasts are incredible. So I'm gonna, by the way, you're gonna hear a constant thing. I'm gonna plug the podcast, and all of my people know I give out homework assignments, so you're gonna need some notes, take out the homework assignment. And the first homework assignment is make sure you follow all of us on LinkedIn. That's homework number 1. All right, so follow everybody on LinkedIn. Laurie's on LinkedIn, Travis on LinkedIn, Corliss is on LinkedIn, Brandon's on LinkedIn, Maria, Erika, so follow us on LinkedIn is the first thing. So Travis, can we start off today with telling us a little bit about what things were like when you first got started versus today?
Well, I was broke, right? It's kind of what we all kind of started out at, working multiple jobs, and like Torres said, I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. I like solving things. I like trying to figure out a solution for things, and so started out as an IT consulting firm, to be honest with you, when I first started Sayles. By the way, Sayles is a combination of my kids' names. Nothing fancy, not some fancy algorithm. My son's name is Sage, and my daughter's name is Alexia, who's in the back. And that's how I came up with the name Sayles. And we started out as an IT consulting firm. During the .com implosion, how brilliant was that? Who starts an IT company, right, during the middle of a catastrophe? That was me. I always pat myself on the back on that. But we started as an IT consulting firm. .com comes, .com goes, and I'm sitting in my living room trying to figure out what do I do next. I get a call from a buddy of mine that was down in CRW at the time. He says, Travis, hey, there might be an opportunity down here. Are you willing to come down and talk to these folks? Didn't have a dime to my name. In fact, I called my mother and said, hey, Mom, can you send me $20? I need some gas. I gotta drive down here and, we'll see what happens. So, best $20 my mother ever gave me. So anyway, went down there and had a conversation with TRW, convinced them that we knew what we were doing. Wasn't 100% sure at the time, but again, I told y'all I have like figuring out solutions, right? So we figured it out on how we were gonna support them. And that was the beginning of Sayles right there. Sayles started with one person doing one task on one contract. That's it. And not having a real plan of how we were going to support that at the time. But at the end of the day, as an entrepreneur, your one gift is what? You know how to figure things out, right? And that gift will take you and will keep moving you in a direction that will forever give you a return. So that's kind of the beginning of Saalex and how we started, and it's worked out well.
So now Saalex has 800 employees? Okay, so there's a long part of that story from 1 to 800 employees that we left out of. That's okay. I'm sure the people know how to get employee number 2 at the very least. And you talk about how do we get from 1 to 2, and then maybe 5, 10.
Sure.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay. Well, listen. I think this is certainly all a process at the end of the day, and you're going to fail more than you win. Everyone should say that together. You will fail more than you win. I guarantee that. That's one thing I can guarantee that's going to happen. But what we did was, I am a huge advocate of being in the room. Show up. Regardless of whether you think you're going to win, show up and continue to show up. And that's what we did. So we had a quality assurance person. We had done pretty well on that particular contract, and we kept going to the events, without any expectation of a return, right? A return on the investment, like 10, 15, $20 that I spent on gas or whatever the case may be. And happened to be at a small business show. And we've been working with TRW. I mentioned that we were working with TRW, and it's, we have a socioeconomic requirement. Are you guys available? I said, where do you need us to be? So 3 days later, I showed up, and that was employee number 2 and number 3. And that's, just keep going, just keep going. At the end of the day, keep going, and you gotta keep showing up. And when you talk, and when you speak about your organization, it has to be intentional, it has to be with purpose. It has to be. And no one knows your business better than you, and you have to be able to deliver that. You can't talk 30 minutes telling somebody about your company. I'm sorry, you got 30 seconds. And you better be able to spit it with the best of them, okay? Right? And you better be in your room practicing. You gotta be in the room talking about your capability. Because what's the first thing you get asked? Well, so what do you do? And you got 30 seconds. And I guarantee they're looking at the clock. 28, 22, 17, right? And you have to be efficient and proficient with your delivery.
Laurie, for your company, what is one of the things when you first started that separated you from everyone else, that made you feel like, hey, you know, I deserve to be here?
Wow, that's a tough question to ask a Black woman. Because they didn't want me in the room. I, as a woman that served in the Marine Corps, one thing I'm not is afraid of a man. Okay, I don't care how big you are, or whatever, I mean, I've been trained. So the issue of actually now living this full life of a civilian, you know, good 20 years probably before I got introduced to government contracting work. And I like, wow, wealth transfer, I'm all in. We had it. But when I started showing up, broke, introducing myself.
Everybody was broke.
Paid myself minimum wage for 4.5 years. A small time million today. I'm not where he's in, but I'm on my way. You know, we expect to hit 14 million at the end of this year. All right. So, but the end result of going into those places during those 4.5 years with my business card and the website and everything, knowing that I haven't gotten there, you know, being asked about, you know, what a restroom, and thinking, I know, you know, the Coke products. I mean, just odd kind of questions that clearly you think I work here. And me having to, you know, reach out, ladies, reach out with a firm grip. My name is Laurie Sayles, I'm President and CEO of Civility Management Solutions. And the fight of staying in the room, because of course I could feel humiliated and roll out. So I would say the differentiator for me was having the background, being really from the streets of Chicago, having brothers and a father that, you know, sold into my life, and then joining the United States Marine Corps. So my personality is that, you know, you can't tell me what I cannot do. Right? And even though I had all these jobs I was doing before I even fell into Govcon, I was always a leader wherever I was. I didn't recognize it when it was going down. I was just doing my job. You know, but Laurie, get that to Laurie, get that to Laurie. Laurie can do that. You know, I'm never making 6 figures. Now that's back then. You know what I'm saying? Because we make sure I get 6 figures a day. Come on, but now. That's right. So the reality of not knowing my value was what I realized now that I'm in this game of government contracting. But they could not affect my self-esteem because I had done too much before they ever met me. And so one of the problems I'm seeing with women, and allow me to get in this because I care, is that, you know, I don't know if y'all have noticed how I'm dressed, but I'm gonna stand up on purpose. Notice I got a jacket on it. Y'all know what I'm talking about, ladies? I got a jacket on it. If I take this off, I look different. So put a jacket on it, please. So you can get some respect. Because you will get disrespected. Don't be attractive when you walk in a room without a jacket on. Because you're going to have to deal with a whole nother level. I'm just being honest with you. Right? That's one of the things that the men don't get, won't get, don't expect them to get it. Because it's not their journey. But they will not miss you walking in the door if you ain't got a jacket on. So your business card becomes something else other than why you came. Right? So that's my feed regarding as women joining into this level of entrepreneurship, because these people got millions. You're not walking in a room when people got $100,000. They got millions. So you gotta make sure you show up right. Thank you so much for that.
I like that. Ooh. That's big, man. You done threw up all my questions.
Yeah. I'm sorry about that. Nah, you asked me to come up here, so
this is why we are here.
Yeah,
This is why we're here. Look, you know, one of the things, I'll be honest with you, that why we're doing this is because, believe it or not, you know, Maria mentioned all the subscribers, everything like that. We've actually hit 40 million impressions, right? We've got over 2 million views on our channel. We're getting 7,000 hours of people watching our content, and I still don't get invited to speak on stage.
That's facts.
They don't want me speaking. They don't want, it's a pay-for-play game. So if I'm not sponsoring, I'm not writing checks, they don't invite me to speak. So I want to bring people on here and give them a platform to talk about successful people that are not typically always given a platform. So that you all can see, right, what people, like I know that, again, Travis and I spend a lot of time together, you know, and you get to see what we experience and realize where it came from and understand that, okay? And know that the theme is the same. Everyone started broke. If you watch my channel, you know my background. I faced a lawsuit. I lost $200,000 on a lawsuit. Then I got sued for another $200,000. And so I started off the second time $500,000 in the hole. But I still started. And it goes back to what Mama you said, right? Perseverance. It's the other skill sets that are not technical that is what kept everyone here. So now let's get into something, Travis. Money. All right. How did you? Okay, you were broke, right? So when you first needed financing, what did you do?
Well, you know, with regards to financing, everybody probably in this room, right, faces that challenge as an entrepreneur. Unless you have a rich uncle or a rich dad or a rich mom, whatever the case may be, right? Or a trust fund that you can tap into, whatever the case may be. And as an entrepreneur, you have to be very creative in how you go about this. And I love Chase to death. They my folks, they really are. But at the end of the day, when I first started, I got turned down 12 times by the major banks, right? They're not in the business of venture. They're not in the business of taking those kind of risks, right, with regards to financing organizations, right? And that's their job. So at the end of the day, I had to become creative. And the first thing you need to do as an entrepreneur, you need to look for alternative financing mechanisms. There are a ton of them out there. In fact, most of the major banks will tell you where these are located and we need to talk to, you know, things like the Economic Development Collaborative. There are certainly a ton of local resources that you can use. But understand, the first time that you go, you're probably not going to succeed. We talk about perseverance, right? What if I give up on denial number 9? What if I give up on denial number 10? What if I give up on denial number 11? And by then I'm hurt, feelings hurt. I'm looking at myself like, oh my goodness, I finance me. Why wouldn't they finance me, right? But at the end of the day, you have to keep going. If you're committed to your belief and what you think is true, and that you have a good product or good service, then you have to keep going. The only way you lose is if you quit, right? And perseverance, I think we talked about it. I got a 48-hour timeout rule. Sometimes you get beat up so bad that it's okay for you to take 48 hours to yourself to heal. It is, right? Because if not, you're gonna feel it. So you have to kind of take care of yourself in that way. And so those alternative financing mechanisms that are out there, you need to do the homework. You need to figure out where they are at. Ask questions. Hey, you know, ask questions, and then you will be led to them. Because that's what I use. My first, $250,000 loan wasn't from, wasn't from Wells, wasn't from Bank of America. It was from the EDCBC. It was also from a local institution where their mandate was to loan to companies or individuals that have been denied by the major banks. And so there are opportunities that are out there. You just got to do the homework. Don't expect anybody to do it for you. You have to do it.
So this is something I tell people all the time. Apply, because even if you get denied, save your denial letters, because there's people out there that will give you funding based on those denial letters. But so many of us self-sabotage. We don't even apply. We're like, oh, I know they're gonna deny me. Right? Laurie, you got something to say?
No, that's good is what I'm hearing you say, because bottom line, our mother and father came together and created you. Right? Out of how many things that's trying to find each other, they created you. So that means you are responsible for you in the end. So I love what he was saying, that you have to not give up on you, no matter what the situation may be. And when it comes to getting money, I was fortunate to have a relationship with a credit union. And that's where my money runs through. Now, I got Chase, I got several things with Chase, but I got several things in a couple other banks, but, because I'm a serial entrepreneur, so Civility is not the only thing I do. However, that credit union is where I got my money. And the other recommendation I'll put on there is that don't just use all this technology. Go into the bank. Walk in there, I see a face I know. Walk in there, say something, let them, I walk in there now, hey Laurie, how you doing? I'm in sales. I didn't even know what I was doing. But now when I walk in, everybody know me. I don't pay for nothing that I shouldn't be paying for. I'm not paying, can you waive that fee? Because some of them fees, Lord Jesus. Get on my nerves. I got money in here and I got to pay a fee. I don't understand that. So I bring that to the table, right? Again, you have not because you ask not. So that's the boldness of you being you, completely who you are, and developing yourself and your strength of being able to be as assertive and aggressive that they're talking about getting your money.
I like it. I don't see my whole no fine fingers up, so I must be good on time. Okay, Erika. All right. One last question, Erika. How can people sitting in the audience that don't know their value, what are some of the ways in which you can talk to them about, how to find that, articulate that, how to think different about themselves? We'll let you start, Laurie, since you brought up the value question.
There's different sources out here in books and audiobooks. I love the Bible myself. And I applied the biblical principles in my life. And it has helped change my life just because I practice that. But if you got to pick up The Secret, go ahead. It's just a copycat of the Bible. You got to go with Living in the Legacy. Go ahead. It's just a copycat of the Bible. The principles are the principles, and the principles will work for anybody, anywhere, at any time. And if you're able to acknowledge that part and stand in who you are, who mom and daddy created, uniquely and genuinely as you, you'll find your value. And you don't have to do it based off of being like him or being like me. It's about being like you. Because me being from the streets of Chicago and joining the United States Marine Corps, gave them 10 years of my life. Do you think I talked anything like this? I had to learn how to talk corporate America in my late 20s when I got out the Marine Corps. I knew how to communicate, but it was very small amount of words, 4-letter words, and I got it done. Because that's how you talk. Slang. I'm from the city. So I've had to grow up. I never would have thought I've been on the Hill 5 times at this point, knowing that there's an appointment sometime this summer for me to go back to talk on behalf of all you in here. You would have never told me I would be able to do that, or why I even would. So again, but I'm being me wherever I am. My swag come with me. Chi-Town gonna show up because I don't know how to not be her. So that's all I can give you. Be strong in who you are, and don't let nobody tell you no without a follow-up.
And then, Travis, a different question for you. How did you learn all the things that it took to build up these 3 different organizations, right, grow to this massive success, and then like now you jump into another different type of entity as well. How did you learn all this stuff? Like, where does that come
you
from?
asked me that question. Thank you. I wanted to know that.
Of course.
Well, if I sat here and I said, absolutely, it was some divine master plan, I'd be lying to you. First and foremost, I ask an insane amount of questions. How do you do that? How do you do this? How do you do that? Are you serious? Show me. Right? I'm from a little city called Longview, Texas. Where the cows are big and the mosquitoes are big. Right? And, you know, I pride myself on asking a lot of questions and then trying to figure out how to fill in the blanks with regards to that. And so I took Saalex, and Saalex is an aerospace company, of course, and then I saw that IT was going to be the next coming, 15 plus years ago. So guess what I did? So an IT division, it made sense to me, right? So I did that, spun that out, and now Vallejo Networks is a $25 million organization, 100 employees nationwide, and we're out buying small IT companies. But that wasn't enough for me. My next venture was I launched a commercial real estate private equity fund called Greenwood. And the reason why I did it was because I wanted to have a more diverse investor group of individuals, folks that look like everybody in this office. I wanted to open up opportunity for folks to invest in high quality assets, right? So basically I came up with an idea to automate self-storages, right? And you probably use one around here, to automate self-storages across the United States, or Southeast and the Atlantic regions. And so to answer your question, Eric, really, it's about me trying to ask a lot of questions, try to put myself in those kind of situations and then filling in the blanks, because you're not gonna know everything. But you can pretty much well chart your way through it and then fill in the pieces. And that worked for me. But again, I ask an insane amount of questions. So don't talk to me if you don't want me questioning, because I'm gonna ask, right? I'm gonna ask. My curiosity, as an entrepreneur, the one thing that you should always have is to be curious about everything. Do not go to dinner with me because I'm doing the math. While you're talking over there, I'm probably doing the math on, man, they got 7 people sitting over there in the corner. I've asked for 3 drinks and so my curiosity and some of those things and asking a lot of questions has really been a very influential part of my growth and going into a lot of different areas.
I'm gonna add to him what he didn't say that I know applies to us. We wanna make a difference and we wanna give back to our community. Because that's also what you're doing, especially that last thing you pulled off.
It's really important. Look, you can make all the money in the world. If you're not trying to help somebody, something's wrong, right? My job, or what I'm really taking on right now, is to throw a rope back and to bring as many people along with me as I can possibly bring. And so, you want to ask me something? Absolutely. I'm going to give you the answer to it. And guess what? I'm not even going to charge you for it. Because I want you to know. I want you to prosper. I want you to grow. Right? So if we all did a little bit of that, just a little bit, we're going to be better off. And so that's my mission. You're absolutely right. Because I want everybody
I wanted that to come out. I wanted that to come out. I really, and thank you for that. I know they're trying to shut us down because, we are the community that does not support each other like many others. I'm being quiet for a reason. I want you to hear that. It's real. We are the lowest in revenue in this country in business. 2016, I think African American women's annual revenue from the national level was about $27,000. The highest on the list was Indians from India. $300 and something thousand. That's a big gap. And the only one up from us happened to be Puerto Rican. They were at like 50 something. So they're like 50% more. So we have to do better in what he talked about in giving back and helping each other. But we also got to think about when we're going to start buying from each other instead of walking past that store, driving past that store. I expect them to stay in business. Ain't nobody else coming. Hello, somebody. You know, and it's common sense, but we don't use common sense on this area when it comes to our money, and we are defeated in this country for it. So we must step up in that area in order to do better as overall and stop selling out and get some old money in this country.
All right. And I'm going to try to have a final word.
I'm not sure I can follow that. Right?
All right, 100%. I'm just going to leave you with a little bit of positive momentum. And, you know, we talk about it. There's something different about entrepreneurs. You're built differently. You all are built differently. And so believe in that. Embrace that, right? Be curious, be different, and above all, don't quit. Don't quit. And that has saved me many times and has propelled me to where I'm at and what I'm trying to do. And so that's what I give to you as an entrepreneur. And I know it may sound cliche, I get it. I absolutely get it. But you need this every once in a while because somebody's out there that already thinking about, man, well, it'd be certainly a lot easier if I went and got, you know, this, or if I went and did this, right? So you need this. Because I remember sitting there and been 30 days away from saying, that's enough. I don't want to put myself through this. I don't want to do this anymore. So you gotta believe. Okay? You gotta believe. That's all I got.
All right, so I think we're going to take a 15-minute break, and then we're going to come back. Right, 15 minutes?
20.
20 minutes? Y'all want 20 minutes?
No, 15.
15. All right, 15, that's what I thought. 15 minutes. I'll see you guys back. 15 minutes.
He put 10 minutes back, so really it's 10, but you know. Alrighty. Stop that.
Yeah.
Stop that.
So I'll bring them back.
Laurie, you ran off?
Hey, I barely.
Alright, look at me. On 3. 1. 1, 2, smile, keep smiling. Don't stop. Beautiful. You might got a phone, anyone? Ooh, that's too late.
Can we get one for us? Like Oscar's here now?
Yeah, bring him in. Join in. All right. Ready? All right. On 3. 1. 1. 1. 1, 2, 3. Stand still. Don't move. Don't move.
We'll do a funny one.
Smile now.
All right. Change the pose.
Happy face.
Funny one.
Happy faces.
Something. Come on. There you go. Once I got a phone now. All right. 3, 2. Keep right there. All right. You want some funny ones on your phone?
Sorry.
Yes, I can.
All right, thank you.
All right. 3, 2. Chase logo in the background. Yeah, at the top. I got it. Welcome.
Awesome.
You're welcome.
703.
No, I think so.
703. Actually, the next company that I work on right now is
So we got 3 top packs of footage.
That's important. Introduce their clapping. Always put that, makes a big difference. Man,
it keeps the energy up too.
It's energy. Oh, yeah. Sometimes someone has to take a lead on that.
Yeah, and the clapping. I gotta start.
Boom, everybody.
I didn't really just put it down. That's perfect.
So now we know.
It's okay.
We work with Dennis. I got it right here. Hold on to it.
Yeah, John gave me his email.
Okay.
But how much yours too?
I'm Garson Silver. And then keep things simple.
Garson Silver. Silver.
Plural. At gmail.com.
Okay.
Right, exactly. studio is at 291 Los Angeles. 291 South Los Angeles. 90211 Ralph Salt podcast strata. Then we got a text little thing. And yeah, I do a real estate broker, green developer, sustainable, and I write books. Do that projects in India. I can go on and on. I'm driving this Daisy plan too from the south.
That means Daisy plan.
That means we landed in Savannah recently.
Oh, okay.
We lots of stuff over there. Texas, I dealt with stuff. Oh, my mom, hardcore liberal from Atlanta. They belong to the temple, which is right down the street from Beverly. When I was 3 years old, he took me to
Wow.
I'm 63
You got some
now.
history to you.
I'm 63 now. So I have a lot of it. I've been around the block a few times.
Okay. This is my first time in LA. I've never been here.
Now where are you?
I'm in Delray.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Florida. So that's where I'm at currently. That's where we with my dad.
If y'all need to do some casting stuff, I work with Dennis there.
Right.
He's been doing government contracting a long time, and we have a streaming platform. And we're looking for live streamers in different parts of it. We have a business model.
Hey, we're live streaming, so
Okay.
you can give a live stream on YouTube every Monday and Wednesday.
A little bit different than the YouTube model. The YouTube model can funnel into what we're doing.
Okay. So when you say live streaming, you're doing like conferences and events?
Conferences, events, and pay-per-views, and religious stuff.
Okay, I like that.
We have payment gateways, and we're setting this up where we're a revenue stream.
Okay.
Like Uber or
Yeah.
Lyft. We do it where multiple cameras. It looks like we got a whole organization coming in with most of the chaos.
That's how it is. We have some events coming up, but I'm pretty sure we're going to do paid stuff, you know? Okay. We do paid stuff. We're just going to be a live streaming platform for paid support. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, to show everybody. So,
My background is really real estate, but this is digital real estate. And as I said, helps people monetize what they're doing, whether it's learning or education, or events, entertainment, sports. And you see what we're doing. Now, I'll send you a non-disclosure on that, but we're getting ready to launch it.
Let me get back to my little work, but I appreciate you coming out. It was very great meeting you. Eugene, Corliss, Stephannie. I'm gonna keep working. That's on paper. I'm gonna work on it tomorrow this time. We can do digital brochures. We don't need to be scanning. We just send it to people's phone. Honestly, stuff like this gets left behind. Nobody puts this together. It's a this way. We're just saying. No, that's why. That's why we don't need to print stuff on it. Make notes, just make notes and send it to me. As you see things, is this on? No. Wait, yes, that's on.
Yes.
I know. I got it. So I have That's what I'm
Hello, hello, hello. So, I just want to get everyone back to their seats, start making your way, closing out conversation. Let's get this party going. Erika. Yes. Oh yeah. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Yeah, yeah, right here. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. She wants to record, so she has to. I think she's doing the whole trip.
Oh. A man's.
All right, guys, let's take our seats because I know we want to hear from our next speakers. All right, so we're going to get started. I want to introduce our resource specialist, Erika, and she's going to take it from here.
Hi everyone, so my name is Erika Baltazar. I'm the research specialist with Govcon and also Eric's gatekeeper. So if you need a meeting with him, let me know. Yes. So I've been with the company for a few years now, and I have the privilege to speak to our members before they join their course. So I get to hear their story, I get to hear their dreams, where they're trying to go. And then after they join the course, you know, with the help of our curriculum, I get to hear their testimony of winning contracts for the first time or being getting their client's first contract, just like Courtney was saying earlier. So it's such a, that's the reason why we do what we do. So another big component is to our membership is having, you know, networking events. So just like this, and I would love to be able to bring Eric on the West Coast more often. So hopefully we'll get, you know, more events going and we can bring him out here and have more networking events. We also are going to give you the opportunity to upload your capability statement to a link. So if we have your email, if we don't, please give it to me. And we're asking you to upload your capability statement so everyone who's here today can, you know, share, collaborate. And then also after this, we're going to be meeting at Tom's Watch Bar. So that's at 8 o'clock. So you are all welcome to come join us. And then with that being said, I will introduce, yes. Eric.
Just really quick, let's give it up for Erika because she's done a ton behind the scenes to help make this happen. She's also in Bakersfield. She's with the Bakersfield Women's Chamber of Commerce. They're hosting an event for women small businesses. It's in April.
April 27th, yes.
April 27th. They're looking for sponsorships. You can get a table there for as little as $1,000, right? And it's about helping grow businesses, and they've got an incredible special guest.
Yes, our
You want to share who
keynoter.
that's going to be?
Yes, so our keynoter will be Damon John from Shark Tank. So yes, if you're interested in attending, please let me know. We have tickets, we have sponsorships available, and that will be April 27th.
All right, I guess back to me. All right, so our next panel, I'm not going to spend so much time on it. Next panel is Stephannie Addo, Eugene Taker, and Ms. Corliss Udoema. Come on up. Yeah, sit there. Yes, good. Hold on.
You did great.
So while she's doing that, Stephannie, why don't you go ahead and introduce your business and tell us a little bit about what you do? I'll move this stuff around.
All right, guys, my name is Stephannie. I'm from New Jersey. Name of my business is ACJ Luxury Maintenance. It is like Saalex is named after my kids, Alyssa, Chloe, and Jacob. My business, I'm in the industry of facility maintenance, specializing in janitorial. We are a COVID baby business. We started in March, well, we incorporated in March of 2020. And by April 7th, around that time, we got our first contract, and it happened to be $1 million contract. So it was great. And I'll, delve into that story a little bit later. But yeah, I'm really happy to be here. I'm happy that Eric invited me, and nice to meet everybody.
All right, and Eugene, go ahead and introduce yourself and your company, please.
My name is Eugene Tinker. I have a unique situation. I have a certified technical expert who's a technology company. We've been doing government contracts for about 13 years. Was in the 8A program, had about 85 contracts from my process time. And I also own a Hawaiian native company right now called CTG, which we'll get more into. It is a technology company as well.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Corliss Udoema. Depends. Some call me Mama Du. Some call me Mama Corliss, and some call me In Time. But I started my company as Contract Solutions Incorporated. It's a staffing company. And as much as you've heard about me, the successes that I've had, I'll be very honest with you. I'm just a plain, straight up North Carolina country old woman. And so when I started my company, I didn't know I was doing staffing. But I would tell people what I'm doing. They said, "Oh, you're staffing." So I finally realized I'm staffing. But I also have a nonprofit because my government name, as you know, is Corliss Udoema, but I like to be referred to as Corliss 365, 24/7, veteran supporter Udoema, because I love myself some active duty and some veterans. And all of us should, because they allow us to wake up in peace.
And Stephannie, we'll start with you. Can you tell us about a time where there's an obstacle you face on your journey?
And you know the story already, so that's why. Of course. Well, basically, I would say this. The very first obstacle I had was with the first contract that I got. So like I told you guys, I started in March. Well, we started with the LLC in March. And by April, the first contract came. So I would say March 31st, around there, I got a call from my friend. And she said, "Hey, there's somebody that's going to do janitorial contracts in your area. I'm going to introduce you." Now, I have known this person before because I'm a veteran. I'm an Army veteran. And, more Army veterans. Yes. Oh, you too? No, okay. Oh, got it. All right, but yeah, so I know this person because I go to a lot of veteran conferences. I've been going to this same conference for years. And he was a teacher there, so basically she just made the introduction further for us. And when they reached out to me, it's like, we're gonna get this contract and I need about 50 workers to be on site for 3 different hospitals within the next 3-4 days. And my company, it was just me. So it's like, but of course, I'm like, yeah, I could do it, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I got it, I got all those people. I've been building my network for a long time, so I was able to reach out to 2 other people that have businesses, and I said, listen, I got this big contract coming on board, can you guys help me? So they came with their people, but it wasn't much. So then it's like they came with their 8, and then it's like, what, 41 more. So here I am on Indeed, calling people all type. It was outrageous. Like, you're gonna get a call at like 8 o'clock at night. Are you breathing? Can you work? Can you show up to this? Can you show up to the hospital? And it was right in, it was during the time of COVID, so everything was shutting down. People were scared, people were nervous. And I'm asking them, can you work at a hospital where all the COVID patients are coming? Mind you, it was in New York City, and we were at the epicenter. So I'm covering Manhattan, I'm covering Brooklyn, I'm covering Queens. So that was a big obstacle, calling people 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, saying, hey, can you show up the next day to work? But people did show up, people did come. I had one person, I didn't even say this on the pod, I had one person get to the hospital and was like, I can't do this, I'm leaving. He walked right out, right? But I just called another person to come on through. The good thing is the hospital was willing to work with me, they understood. They weren't the best to work with, but they understood in the beginning. And it worked out, but that was one of the biggest obstacles and hurdles that I had to overcome in first doing that contract.
I love it, thank you, another great story. Eugene, on our podcast, there's something you said in the beginning about if they don't let you in the door. Do you remember that?
So, one of the biggest things was trying to get into the door. I was like the youngest guy that was a CEO when I started. So people would look at me like, who is this young kid walking in like he is, I didn't have any gray hair on my face or anything like that, low haircut, walks in and, it was basically, how could you get into this place? You sit down and you're IT, so you can come and work for me, but I don't see you being a CEO. You're too young to be a CEO. And if you're the CEO, who runs the company? I said, I run the company. Oh, you can't run the company. So what one of the biggest things was, I was telling Eric when we talked, you gotta figure out how to never accept no. Never accept the thing that say you can't get in, right? So if it comes down to you, and you may think this is crazy, right? If I can't get in, I'm gonna put a card in my shoe and ship it in. You call me and say, hey, how did you get in? Well, I got 1 foot in already. You might as well let me come in. I'm in the door, right? So you gotta always put that, inside of you, because nobody else gonna believe in you other than you believing in yourself. And you gotta have that faith to say, whatever it takes for me to get there, right? Quickly, I didn't have, when I started the company, when they started telling me that, I was hearing that a lot. So what I did was, I knew I could train people. So I grabbed some interns. And I took these interns from high school and from college, and I said, now I got a staff, right? And these interns would walk around with me and I'll say, hey, look, they're gonna ask us to do something, and if you don't understand, I need you to say, the key word is, can you excuse me for a second? You go to the bathroom and you call me. And when you call me, whatever the problem is, I promise you we'll fix it if you just follow what I'm saying from there, right? So you have to really figure out how to do it. When I walked around then, who gonna do the work? I was like, my guys right here. I never told them there was an intern. This is my staff, right? I didn't have any money to pay them, so I went to the college and said, can I have these students and I'll train them. And I did. I trained them, I got them certifications, and now they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars now, right? So you gotta figure that part out. You gotta figure out how to get in the door. I think the other thing I used to tell you was take your shoes off. If everybody in this room, take your shoes off and put your toes in the mud. Don't stand in the mud on your shoes. See these shoes? They slick. But if you take your shoes off, take your socks off and put your toes in the mud, it ain't nothing gonna stop you because you grinding, you grabbing.
I like it. I like it. All right, Ms. Corliss, tell us something, saying that you operate by. Wait, you've got a whole book on sayings. You have daily sayings, weekly sayings. You don't wrote a book about them. I know you got some good ones.
Let me just show you something. I came because of what you said, but I stayed because of what you did.
By the way, she does have a book. What's it called? What's your book called?
Mama You, Words of Wisdom, speaks on business and life.
And it's on Amazon, by the way, so I want to plug her book. I do have a copy of it.
I'm sorry. And it benefits 100% of the proceeds go to veterans and veteran nonprofit associations. And I also have an annual veterans calendar. 100% of that goes to veterans and veteran nonprofit associations. So if you desire to be a part of the veterans calendar, I'm also booking now for 2024.
No, this is her book, just so I can see a picture of it. I just want to show it up.
And I shared with her my dream for her. So let's put that book on Talkbook. Let's get it to where everybody can download it, and we're gonna do it. We're gonna make it happen for you, from me, for all you do.
Thank you. So, Stephannie, in 3 days, you had to corral 40 people. You know, that sounds like an incredible feat for anyone out here. How long had you been looking for an opportunity like that?
All my life. So I learned about government contracting through going to the veteran events, and I saw so many Black women in construction and facility maintenance, and it was really inspiring. My best friend, who's in government contracting as well, and y'all probably saw our podcast with Eric, Sheena. You know, she told me watch Eric, and she kept telling me to do that, and I watched him, and I binged for like, I want to say 2 years before I actually decided to take the jump and say, yeah, I'll, you know, get out here and do that. So when I went to the conference the very last time, although I was learning about government contracting, I wasn't taking action. I don't want to say I wasn't taking it seriously, because I was, but it's the difference between taking something seriously and actually applying what you learned. And I wasn't applying what I learned in the most efficient way. So when I decided to go to the conference for the last time, I said, listen, I'm going to make these types of connections that I need to, as my friend says, get my foot in the door. We got to get our foot in the door. And so through that networking and through responding and through showing up, I was able to do that. But a contract like that, although I didn't know it would be as big, when I first got it, I was just like, listen, I want to build basically your business resume for the government. You got to build that past performance. I didn't necessarily have that past performance. So for me, I'm like, if I could just get a door, I don't care if I'm breaking even, that's fine, because now I have Department of Veterans Affairs. Now I have 3 hospitals behind me. But I didn't have the money. I didn't have the money to say, okay, I'm going to cover 50 workers, you know. So I told the prime, because when I met him, in his class, he said, if you don't have the money to service a contract and you're a sub, you can ask the prime to fund it. And that was his exact words. So when he called me, I'm like, I ain't got the money. I'm just telling you, I don't have the money. And he's like, no problem, no problem. I got it. We just gotta get this done. And it was funded, you know, because you're looking at 50 workers, that's, especially New York City, that's like no, not from just me. So, yeah, so he funded the contract and we was able to do it. But as long as I opened my mouth and told them, you know, I didn't front. I wasn't like, oh, I could cover this, whatever. I could get the workers as long as you could get the money. And that's an even deal. So that's what we did.
I love it, I love it. Eugene, you know, you built out this new organization, right? You got your foot in the door, you put your shoe, mailed it, the car, the shoe. I love that story. That touches me so much. It's just a different way to think about things. For the people who are listening to this, you know, what is one way that they can, and I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs do this, where you make a mind shift switch in terms of, like, for example, they got Kobe over here and it's the Mamba mentality, right? Is there anything like that you do for yourself that you can share with people, or maybe you switch out who you are, your character?
Good question. So, everybody do me a real quick favor. And I know it's COVID and all these different things, but touch the person beside you real quick. It wasn't hard, right? It wasn't hard, right? Even the reach wasn't hard, right? So it's about the mind switch, right? When you have faith to believe in yourself, right? That means that you're willing to throw it all in one basket. Nobody can tell you that you can't do it, right? It's like you have people around you and people gonna come around you and say, you know, hey, I wouldn't do that. How are you gonna pay your light bill? How are you gonna pay your water bill? So let me explain, let me say one quick thing. I was so, where I grew up and what I grew up in, I grew up with a caution light. I didn't have a grocery store. I didn't have any of those things. So where I grew up in Alabama, small town Alabama, the country store was the grocery store. That was the, if you need medicine, that was the store you go get medicine from. If you need orange juice, eggs, grits, everything was right there at that one store. Anytime you had to go to the city, you had to drive. So what did that do? That taught you to be able to, you had to switch your mind to be able to survive, right? If you wanted to have you some greens, you got to grow them in the garden, right? Some people don't know anything about that, right? So when I got into the business, I was so engulfed into the business. I heard earlier where it's like I took my 401k or people took that. I took that and still was homeless. I still slept in my truck. Because everybody, girlfriend, friends, you not gonna make it. You not gonna do it. But I had a skill, right? And nobody could take that skill away. Nobody, no matter what you told me. I had a mother that was a praying woman that basically said, whatever you decide you wanna do, right? I'm gonna stand behind you. So you had to like switch that mind. Nobody gonna do it. No matter how many people you get around you, you gotta get around people that think like you think. If you get around people that think you're not gonna make it, guess what? You're not gonna make it. I don't care how much somebody give it to you or what. But you get around people that say, hey, you know what? I got some people that I can hook you up with. It ain't work out for me, but if you go in and you smiling, they gonna look out for you. Those type of people, I'm getting chills up here saying this to you. Those type of people are people that gonna help you. It lifts you. You gotta get around people that lift you. Because if you don't, it doesn't matter like what kind of company you have and what you think you could do. You gotta be able to, first of all, believe in yourself. I started a clothing line that said bios. People say, what does that mean? I be like, believe in oneself. I wore it when we are creatures of sight. So if we see something, We see the nice cars, we see those things. What do we want? We want them, right? We see the big numbers of what we want it, right? So if you start making you a vision board, it's really important. You gotta switch the mindset to a mindset of, it's not if I get it, it's when I get it. Say it. It's not if I get it. I can't hear it.
When I get it.
Say it one more time. It's not if I get it, it's when I get it.
Come on, man.
All right, I can clap. We in church. Y'all know on my YouTube channel, I say all the time, I preach to people. Because that's how I talk. Because I really do believe in this message, and I believe in it. It's taken care of me and my family and all of my friends' family for the last 24 years. So I stand behind everything I say. I stand behind the people. And that's why I brought them up here to share their stories. And as you see, we all start off similar, right? Not a lot of resources, not any connections, if any, and just really believing in ourselves and doubling down.
And that's why I love you. I love you like a fat woman loves cake, and I love you some cake.
You see? And we have a good time too at the same time. You know. Listen, one of the things that you told me, one of the stories, I don't know if you remember this, but when the guy calls you, like on a Thursday or Friday, he gives you a hot potato. Do you remember that story?
Which hot potato?
When the government calls you and wants you to turn around a proposal in 3 or 4 days.
When they do that, you have to be able. Well, here's the thing. When they throw you a hot potato, they don't expect you to get it back by Friday. They don't. They do that because they feel, hey, let me throw this hot potato over the fence, and then you'll be running around not doing it. That's when you have to get in your car. I had a situation, I had to get in my car, drive to the bank, get a certified check, call somebody in North Carolina, tell them you can't mail this, you got to go over to the courthouse, you got to do X, Y, and Z. Whatever needed to be done, I did it. And that hot potato was back over in their yard before close of business. I'll say by 3 o'clock. That was not expected, but you have to do the unexpected. You really do. And I really wanted to add to have spoken. And let me tell you, I have a little bit of background. I retired after 33 years of working for the federal government as a contracting officer. And if you don't know what that is, I'm the person who used to sign the contracts, okay? And what I noticed in my job, when they had the list of people for contracts, nobody looked like me. Nobody looked like me. And so what I did, I volunteered to start doing workshops. And I did the workshops, and you know how you have a class and you go in and you sit and they talk and you don't do anything? When they left my class, they were certified, had the paperwork in, all of that. So we grew the list from 13 people to 135. But it wasn't easy because when the government saw, because I went to the church, I went to the pool hall, I went to the club, I went everywhere. Oh yeah, mom was in the club. I'm sorry. But anyway, I went every place that I knew that people would be, to the pool hall, everywhere. And that list grew from 13 to 135. There were a lot of people. But during that process, the first thing they did was, oh, you can't do it here. You can't have it here. So you know what that meant. I'm having it someplace else. Out in the community. I took it out into the community. Then they said, you can't have government people having coffee and this and that and the other. So I took care of that. Finally, everything they came up with, I was able to override it and do something else. So they just thanked me for my service and said, you could no longer volunteer for this. But in the meantime, a whole lot of folks, women, veterans, had contracts there at that base.
Stephannie, some parting words, and then Eugene, some parting words as well.
After listening to the panelists, I think one of the things that they stated is you have to get out. You have to get out. You have to create your network, right? When I started, I'm the only entrepreneur in my family. Definitely the only one to, hit 7 figures, at least in a business. But it didn't start like that. And I'm a serial entrepreneur, so it's not my first business. I definitely failed in the past, definitely went bankrupt in the past. So, it wasn't an easy journey. But one of the things that I had to do was get up and get out. I couldn't find people in my state, so what did I do? I went out of state. If a contract's out of state, I'm going out of state to see how that contract is. I'm not just gonna stay in one city or one state to see if this is gonna pop off or not, right? So that's one thing I want to say. When you do get out there in that work, don't just stay stuck in the city, don't stay your head. Don't just stay stuck behind the laptop or the computer or social media. You have to get out there, you have to shake hands, you have to meet people. They have to feel your energy, you have to feel each other's vibe and move forward with that.
All right, so I'm gonna try to do this in a quick nutshell. Right? But everybody in the room right now, if you want to have a successful company, raise your hand. Okay. Listen, and I'm gonna be so honest with you. When I said take your shoes off, take your shoes off. This is not something that gonna be handed to you, right? It's levels to it, right? In life, when you graduate, get your first job, making $30,000, $40,000, that ain't hard, right? You go to McDonald's, you can make that. But when you get to that level where you're trying to get to millions of dollars, there's a different level, right? And it's like playing basketball. You got 50 people that has that skill set, but only 2 make it to the NBA, right? Those 2 that make it, they go hard. So when you sleep, they up working. When you tell you're gonna take a break, they telling their body, we can't stop. You gotta tell yourself that it doesn't matter what it takes to get there, I'm gonna make it. You gotta really believe that. What that means is you gotta put yourself around people, take Eric's course, learn about the government. Just like one of the panelists was saying, and I was back there smiling when you said it, you gotta change your language. The way that you talk 10 years ago, you can't get up on a panel and talk that same way. You can't walk into a room where you got 10 other CEOs that's trying to go after the same contract. What makes you so much different? You gotta be able to speak your talk. One of the things that I've learned as I've been a CEO, and I'm an IT guy to the heart. But if you don't learn what you walking in that room to say, if I gotta look over and say, hey, my IT guy, what do we do now? You done lost when I come in that room. Because what I'm gonna tell you is, my programmer's standing behind me. And whatever they talk about, I can talk about it to the fullest. So if you can't be that person that carry that coat and walk around with it, you ain't stay up late. I could tell when you don't stay up late. Companies that come to me and ask me to mentor them, you know what I tell them? You still working at your job? Yeah, how long are you gonna stay on that? Well, I'm gonna still work at my job. Don't come back to my office, please. Because guess what? You can't straddle the fence on this thing here. If you wanna make it, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it to you. If you want to get there, you got to get there. I told Eric, I went to the bank to get my first line of credit. I ain't have credit. Nobody taught me that in Alabama. Like, hey, you gotta have credit, young man, because we gonna take you somewhere. Nobody taught me that. I went to school. Nobody told me nothing about credit. You know what I had to put on my cosigner? Jesus. That's my truth. The man said, you got a cosigner. My mama can't cosign. She ain't got credit. My dad. My who? My dad can. Who? So who you got, young man? I wrote Jesus on there.
Did you really write it? Jesus?
Huh?
You wrote Jesus on
I wrote Jesus. I wrote Jesus on my cosign. And guess what happened? The next day I got a phone call. They fired the man that's supposed to be giving me a line of credit. And the man that came in said, you bought a contract, so I'm gonna give you your $80,000 line of credit. So what I'm telling you is, this business ain't gonna give you, this business give you stories. It give you testimonies in which nobody can be able to come back. This is what we're up here to give you, testimonies. We telling you that you getting up, don't think that this is gonna be a cakewalk. Don't think that you ain't gonna run into no bumpy roads. So listen to these testimonies and just be prepared. But what you got is, you got an open door. You got somebody you can call. You put together panels. You get these cards, because everything that you want to do, from building your website to even talking about your company, somebody done did it. And if somebody give you their card and they shake your hand right here in this room and say, call me, if you don't call them, you selling yourself short. So bottom line of the whole thing, you're all successful in my book, because you took the time out and you sacrificed just to come in this room tonight. So you're already winning. Keep winning.
One of the things that I wanted to say is that sometimes people come to me and they ask for advice. They want me to mentor them. And I tell them, some things that I do, I don't expect you to do that. Remember when I said I'm an old North Carolina country woman? That's who I am. So sometimes I can say something to somebody, and they know that it's coming from me. They're okay with that. But what I wanted to do is to tell you, remember when I said I came because of what you said, but I stayed because of what you did? One of the things that has been very valuable to me is that I have long-term relationships with my clients. Since 2010, I have been working from home. I received 2 awards from one agency. I have been working for them for 7 years. No one recognized me because I've never been there. I have challenges. So, but what I do it with excellence. 2 things